Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to XRL US. Running a little bit behind here at the start, but we have our largest field thus far in the series. 11 drivers showing up to today's race with 2 first-timers going to be leading the field to the green flag on the standing start here for the qualifying race at Lime Rock. It will be XRL Ozda and Deed Speeman who will be leading the field to the green flag here, and we are going to get underway with a field of 11 drivers right off the bat. Your points leader, Dino Prime 77, has elected to not show up for today's event, and it's going to make things very difficult. Ozda did not get off the line whatsoever as he's plummeted all the way to the back of the field, and there is chaos going on in the back now. And Ozda from the pole all the way down to the 8th, 7th position now, and this means that at the front, you're going to see a much different driver, and the leader right now is Delphine Lover. But look at that pack of cars behind. Perrin is stuck there in the middle of this mess. He's right behind Matter, going down the line here. Going back to the back, Kinsey Retro has fallen to dead last after he got turned there in the incident. Ozda has plummeted all the way to the 10th position right now. Sperm Dumpster is fallen to the 9th spot. So for the 2 drivers who start on the front row, within 1 lap, they fall right to the back. The inverted point situation does not help them whatsoever. But as we're going up the order, Kosiet Snake is up there in the 7th position. He is trying to close in on Ample Lemming right now as they're making the dive down at the end of the Samposi Straight. A little bit of a knock sideways there as we go a little bit farther up in the field. Aiden is there in 5th. He is right there behind Perrin in the 48. Aiden, the champion in the OSRL Busch Series, currently trying to take home another NASCAR championship in a different league. As we look a little bit higher up the order, Stryker is putting pressure right now on Matter as they crest the hill. The 95 going against the number 2 machine. As Delphine is trying to walk away from the field here at Lime Rock. Root Beer King has fallen all the way back to the last position, and I have to wonder if maybe he got into the barriers or something. Well, something has gone wrong because he has fallen to last position for the moment. Aiden has finally gotten by Perrin coming out of the final corner. So now Perrin falls to 5th position. Aiden is in 4th as he sets his sights on Stryker. Stryker has ended up into the dirt, and Aiden's going to take 2 spots in the section of a straightaway in 2 corners, but he has to go into the grass evasively to avoid. Now Stryker is going to go deep into the dirt. And he could fall a long ways down the order. This actually might bring Ample Lemming and Kosiet Snake up to him now. Battles happening all over the racetrack as we speak. As Stryker crests the top of the hill. It looks like for now, Ample Lemming is ahead of Kosiet Snake. Oh, and Stryker goes deep off the circuit. Just sides right off into the tire barrier, and that's going to drop him deep through the grid. He's fallen to 8th now. Will soon fall to 9th, I imagine. But at the front, it's still Delphine with Matter trying unfruitfully to run him down. Ample Lemming has now inherited the 5th place starting position, and that's Kosiet Snake, who's just behind him, trying to close in. Sperm Dumpster is Deed Speeman, is a little bit farther back. Here we are, top of the hill. This is the most active battle on the track right now. Kosiet Snake and Ample Lemming as they go down to the final corner here. Kosiet Snake looking to the inside. He shins it in on the inside, and they both go off. And your 5th and 6th place drivers both go off at the same point in the racetrack, and they're both into the wall with a hard impact. Ample Lemming trying to get underway now, as Deed Speeman has gotten by. Stryker has gotten by as well. And Kosiet Snake has finally gotten going as well. But now, how far is he from Kinsey? Well, the answer is not very far. Kinsey could capitalize in an event that another accident happens amongst those drivers ahead. So now Deed Speeman, having a relatively bad start, has recovered back up into the 5th position here. As we go ahead and bring up the track map real quickly, give you an idea just where everyone is, we are about to see our first lapping of the day. Ozda is being closed in on by Delphine. Ozda had an absolutely horrible start today, and Ozda goes off into the dirt there. So Ozda will go a lap down here in the sprint qualifier race, as he is a long way back from 10th right now. But this battle for now, it used to be a battle for 5th, now it's a battle for 7th and 8th between Lemming and Snake is extremely hot, and now Lemming just gets turned, well, basically by himself, right off into the dirt, and he's going to lose a chunk of time against Snake here. And that means that Kenzie is closing in once more on this fight. Oh, and Lemming is drifting it completely sideways there through the sole left-hand corner. He's having a lot of trouble keeping that car under him, it seems, and Kenzie is closing. He might be able to take this position if Lemming has another incident like that. And Snake is trying to walk away from Lemming here. There is another battle going on, or about to start going on, and it is the battle for 2nd and 3rd position. Aiden Man is closing in on TFB Matter right now as they go down the straight. We're not quite halfway through this sprint race. Again, lap times here are about 50 seconds, if not a little bit shorter than that. So you're going to be seeing in a 12-minute race about 15 laps here. We're just now past the halfway point as Aiden continues to try and put distant pressure on Matter. Kenzie is closing in that battle for 8th and 9th position. Lemming has just not been having any serious luck whatsoever here, it would appear. Riding on board with Kenzie Retro in that British green number 64 machine. It seems like Lemming may have figured his route out around here just a bit. The gap has opened up a hair. Now, as I say that, he kicks that car really sideways there, coming into the sole left-hand corner. And that's the interesting thing about Lime Rock. Every corner here is a right-hand corner except for the second one. And Lemming very deep into the green stuff there, known as grass. Perrin has slipped down to the 5th position now. Kenzie being very cautious around the circuit here, not pushing the car too hard. Lemming seems to be attacking this racetrack, and that is what's sacrificing his lap time here. As Perrin has gone completely off, and Perrin has rolled that car. And yeah, Perrin indeed has rolled his machine. Say, Gopher Cam. I don't know what happened to Perrin, but a partial rollover there in the runoff at the exit of the final corner. This is on top of the machine, on the bonnet cam. There doesn't seem to be any motion to try and get that thing going here. Oh, and Ozda's gone off as well in the same position, and he's going to hit him and turn that car the rest of the way over. But anyways, we turn our focus once again back to the lead. Delphine with a massive gap over the rest of the field. Root Beer King has gone a lap down already, so we've had 3 drivers go a lap down already at this point in the event. TFB Matter is still in second. Aiden has not closed in significantly on him, but they have gotten by Root Beer King. Deed Speedman has climbed his way up into the 4th spot. 5th place goes to Striker 411003. As we see him at the top of the racetrack, 6th place is Kosiet Snake. He is having a relatively good run right now in the sprint qualifier. Ample Lemming is starting to recover and close back in on him. He is in the 7th position. 8th is Kenzie Retro, one of his best runs to date. Granted, it is in the sprint qualifying. 9th, he is a lap down, but it is Root Beer King. 10th place is Perrin, who has finally gotten back underway, and then Ozez back there in the 11th spot. All the gaps in the field have opened up pretty significantly. Aiden's not really closed in that much on Matter in the last few laps. As we bring up the map, you can see that although there are some drivers who are close to each other on racetrack, there is only this battle here between 6th and 7th that seems to be active. Once again, Ample Lemmy and Kosiet Snake seem to be very evenly matched across most of the circuits on the schedule as they keep finding each other on the racetrack. Lemming right behind Kosiet Snake here as they go down the main straightaway. These two drivers still on the lead lap. Lemming with a huge dive on Kosiet Snake. He's going to knock him completely sideways off the circuit, and they both go deep into the grass now. Kosiet Snake recovered first, and they have the current qualifying race leader, Delphine, closing in on them. Delphine got a great start and just has not made a single mistake this entire run. He could very easily put over half the field here a lap down in a sprint race. When Ozez pulled off the circuit right there, ooh, that was really, really tight and aggressive. Delphine now caught behind, and it's caught right behind this battle. He needs to figure out a way to get by cleanly. He looks to the inside of Ample. Lemming is trying to get by Kosiet Snake. They're going to be 3 wide, and that's your race leader on the inside there. This can only go badly. Lemming puts the bumper to Delphine, but Delphine's going to get away. Lemming follows Delphine through, move him back up into the 6th position as Kosiet Snake slides into the dirt further back now. Ooh, look at Lemming getting really sideways, cresting the top of the hill there. This is still the most active battle on track now, but everyone except the top 5 has now gone a lap down in this qualifying race. And that's the crazy thing about it. With the two drivers who started on the top did not get going properly. It bunched up the field and has led to a lot of very, very unique scenarios. Although I would say the cream has still risen to the top, it has brought us a very interesting set of circumstances when it comes to who is and is not on the lead lap. And that, coupled with Parrot having that massive rollover, has also really contributed to having a very, very strange situation there. Matter has now caught this battle. Lemming's still ahead of Kosiet Snake just for the moment. As Delphine Lover has taken the checkered, he will start on the pole for today's race. This is the last lap for these drivers, Lemming and Kosiet Snake. They have one more circuit to go as Matter locks himself up into the 2nd position, and we're going to see Aidenman doing the same thing for 3rd spot. 4th place will more than likely go to Deed Speedman, although he's a good 20 seconds behind Aiden. There's no competition directly around him. He will come home in the 4th spot. 5th place is going to be Striker. Again, no one really close to Striker at the moment. And a 5th place starting position will be very much appreciated by him. So we turn our focus right now, once again, to the battle for 6th and 7th. Kosiet Snake has fallen off the back of Lemmy. It looks like he's going to have to settle for 7th, as Lemmy will recover to a 6th place starting spot after they've had multiple incidents throughout the day. And time is up in the session. All right. gonna make this really quick, Perrin. I need you to send a message to the other party, but first, for the sake of the broadcasting, we saw that car of yours rolled onto its side on the tire barriers at the exit of the final quarter. What in the world happened there? You looked like you were locked for a top 5 starting position.
I caught the grass in the left rear, and then it kind of just went. Lime Rock's not fairly forgiving, so I caught the left rear, went, it flipped a couple times, and we got stuck.
Well, it looked like it was a massive instant there. You ended up going from the lead lap to 2 laps down. And then Ozda came sailing in a few laps later and knocked you farther off the barrier. Do you think you'll still be able to recover in the race itself? Starting 10th is not going to be easy. I track hard to pass that.
Yeah, we're actually running what we've seen so far. We're running probably one of the fastest times compared to everyone. Obviously not clean due to passing people, but we might have one of the fastest times, so I think I can make that up or get close to the top 5, if not in the top 5.
All right, well, it's definitely been very interesting to see what happened to you there. Good luck trying to do that. Also, one other thing, just want to say for you to pass on to the next party, let Kosiet Snake and Ample let me know that while it's fine to be racing aggressively, there were like 2 instances there where they were like intentionally dumping each other. They just need to be a little bit more practical and reasonable with their racing. I like watching that racing going on, but just not outright dumping each other. Please.
It was who again? Ample and
Lemmy and Kosiet Snake.
Alright, well, take care. I'll be back here later.
Alright, cool. Let them know we'll get going in about 5 minutes.
Alright.
Alright, anyways, as we're preparing to get the main race itself set up, a very, very interesting scenario here. Ozda, from the top to the bottom, is not going to help him one bit today. Kinsey Retro actually ends up with a relatively decent qualifying run. That's something that's really going to help him out. Speedman was there. As I'm just trying to get the proper order set up for the event here. Striker got 5th. Yeah, that looks right. I think Kinsey was ahead of BK here. Make sure I have that. Okay. One second, everyone, as we prepare to set up for the main race itself. Hey, Ozda, so you do know that, well, so here's the thing. Yeah, Ozda, I wanted to hear what happened from your perspective, first on the start, and then I also wanted to hear what happened when you sailed off in the final corner into Perrin's overturned car real quickly, just for broadcasting purposes, while I'm getting the race set up.
So basically, on the start, the screen was black, and then like I thought I was gonna get the countdown as we usually do, but I didn't, and then everyone I think just smacked into me, and then where I smacked into Perrin's cars because I was like 2 laps down and he couldn't move at all, like nothing was helping, so I just thought I'd help him out. Yeah.
Alright, well, you're going to be starting last place, but the good news is it's not going to be a standing start for the main race itself. It's going to be a rolling start. Do you think you'll be able to recover from a last place starting position in this grid?
It could be a chance, yeah, you don't know about incidents and stuff like that and yellows and stuff, so we'll have to see. I'm not going to put any unnecessary pressure on me.
Alright, Ozda, real quickly, I did see the message that you sent. You can't be in the broadcast booth for this race because...
I realized, yeah, don't worry.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, sorry, mate. So I'll see you go back. If Shredder joined that booth, let him know that he needs to be the pace car for the pace lap, though.
Alright, I'll tell him that, don't worry.
Alright, cool. Bye. Alright, but anyways, getting the event set up now. And you can see Kinsey was not able to finish, Rupert was not able to finish, and neither was Perrin or Ozda able to finish in that qualifier race. As we're preparing to get underway here. Waiting on Shredder to get the pace car up and going so they can get into the race itself here very shortly. Alright, and they are underway here. It will be one pace lap followed by a long 85 lap race. You're going to be very, very familiar with the field when it comes to the green here. A little bit of a hiccup on my end. A little bit of a hiccup on my end. I had said to spectate, but it didn't properly let me spectate as it should have. But anyways, as we are underway now for the initial laps here. Starting on the pole, here's your pace car driver, SRD Shredder in the Audi S3. But starting on the pole for today's event will be Delphine Lover. He's got the inside line. He'll be very happy with that. On his outside will be TFB Matter. It's going to be very hard for him to make the outside line work as they dive into turn 1. Then on the next row is going to be Aiden Man sharing that with Deed Speeman. In the row right behind them is going to be Stryker, and he's going to be sharing that position with Ample Lemming. Then behind them it's going to be Kinsey Retro and Kosiet Snake, who will be laying up that row. Row 4. Row 5 is going to be Root Beer King and Kosiet Snake, Root Beer King and Perrin. And then the last position all by himself is going to be XRL Ozza. So Ozza's going to have, Ozza and Perrin will both have their work cut out for them trying to make their way up through the grid here. As we turn our focus to the lead cars as they're coming down to the green flag here, it's anticipated to be a one-stop race today, but yellow flag could make things very easily as they come out of the final corner here. Matter on the outside, Delphine on the inside, as they will take the green flag here on the run down to turn 1, and we are underway at Lime Rock. Delphine got a very, very good launch, as did Aiden behind. Aiden's going to shoot up to the inside of Matter. Delphine completely unopposed as they go through turn 1. Aiden on the inside of Matter. Stryker is going to slot himself in front of Deed Smeeman just behind. And Kinsey Retro has already bounced up into the 6th position, but he gets passed on the inside by Ample Lemming. And now Perrin has already worked his way up into the 8th spot now. Oh, and Kinsey goes off with Ample Lemming, and they both go into the tire barriers. They're underway once more, though, but Kinsey falls right to the back. It's going to be very rough for him to recover from that as the focus... Oh, and Lemming is sideways right in front of Root Beer King. But at the front, it's still Delphine, Matt, and Aiden, with Stryker having recovered up a bit. Here's Root Beer King. He's in the 9th spot. He's looking right there behind Ample Lemming right now, having a little bit of trouble getting out of that final corner, though. Kosiet Snake is in 7th, and he's looking at Perrin and Deed Speeman as they've gotten into each other right ahead of him. A potential top 5 in the works for Kosiet Snake. Oh, and Perrin's into the dirt once more. That's not going to help him. Oh, and Stryker has left the party. Well, he said that he was not going to be able to get very far into this event as he has already dropped out. I'll be a bit of a pain for him. Kosiet Snake right there behind, well, ahead of Ozda, behind Perrin, as Ozda's trying to work his way back up through the field here. Deed Speeman has opened up a little bit of a gap on Perrin for the moment. As up front, Delphine has an 8.6 second lead over TFB Matter and just continues to try and add to it as this event goes on. Ozda is back up into the 7th spot. Kosiet Snake still looking to try and close in on Perrin here. Perrin gained a bunch of positions in the first lap and a half, but he's kind of stalled out at this point in the race. Lemming has gotten ahead of Ozda, and Perrin's into the dirt. Here's Kosiet Snake. He's going to get on his inside and will actually complete the overtake. So move Kosiet Snake up into the 5th spot as they crest the hill. Perrin's going to try and fight back, though. Not very many overtaking opportunities at the top of the mountain, but Kosian Snake went a little bit wide. That's going to give the opportunity for Perrin to make a move. He looks to the inside. They make a little bit of contact, and they're both going to be able to keep it on, but it's going to be a drag race for the 5th position as they go down the front straightaway. Perrin has the nose ahead at the line, and that will help him when they get under braking here. A little bit of contact, and they both get forced just a bit wide, but they're both far enough ahead of 7th Ample Lemming that Kosian Snake can afford to battle for a little bit longer. But Lemming is closing in on Kosian Snake, and the battle that we've been seeing play out time and time again throughout the season looks like it might show up very shortly once more. Lemming closing on Kosian Snake as Kosian Snake has now lost Perrin pretty much. But as we turn our focus back to the lead, Delphine has a 1.1 second advantage over everyone else, and Rupert King has just completed an overtake for the 8th position against XRL Ozda, but I think that's because Ozda may have had an incident. He is going a lot slower here at the top of the mountain. He may have had an incident where he got into the tire barriers going up the hill. Rupert King's backing off into the dirt though, so Ozda's going to get a chance to get back in front of him potentially. And that's exactly what will happen. Ozda moves back in front of Rupert King. A much less chaotic start to this race. We're 6 laps in, but everyone is still on the lead lap, with the exception of Stryker, who ended up leaving about 2 laps into this event. Ozda having a little bit of trouble cresting the hill there. Rupert King's just behind him, putting some pressure on him. Ozda going to take a little bit wider entry into the final corner. Rupert King tries to send it on the inside. He's not close enough, ends up drifting it. Meanwhile, a little bit farther up the grid, Ample Lemming on the outside of Kosian Snake trying to make an overtake in an area that doesn't normally work, but he will have the inside line of choice in the next corner, but he gets completely sideways. Kosian Snake is sideways. Lemming gets ahead of the Mexican. Battles taking place all over the racetrack. As once again, we put our focus on the battle between Ozda and Root Beer King. Rupert King does a bit of a wheel hop over that final curb, and that seems to be his biggest problem. He's closing on Ozda bit by bit around most of the circuit, but then he loses it all in the last corner. Oh, but Ozda went really wide there in turn 1, completely missed the braking point, and Rupert King's going to get back in front. Bit of a slide job coming out of turn 1. Going through single, lone left-hand corner on this racetrack. Ozda there behind Rupert King, having a little bit of trouble putting the power down and keeping up with him for the moment. And of note, these two drivers will eventually end up trying to be fine to stay on the lead lap, as Delphine is going to be closing on them sooner rather than later. Ozda to the inside of Root Beer King as they go into the final corner. This time Root Beer King sends it in, and Ozda has to figure out some way. But Ozda has a better run coming out of that corner. Will it be enough for him to get a braking maneuver in? He's going to try it. He's to the inside for the 8th position once more. A little bit of side-by-side contact. Ozda pushes Root Beer King a little bit wide. And he's going to slot that number 33 in front. Rupert King now behind the 33. He'll shoot to the inside in the following corner. Gets that thing completely sideways, having a lot of trouble putting the power down. Ozda gets in the dirt. They're side by side again. And Ozda's going to turn Rupert King right sideways. We'll pull over briefly to let Rupert King get going properly again. But they're going to go a lap down very quickly if that keeps coming. That driver back there you see, that is your race leader, Delphine Lover, who started on the pole in today's event. If that's not enough, First, second, and third are all right on top of each other. We're going to ride on board with Aiden because you can watch from his roof. You can see him closing in on Matt, Matt closing in on Delphine, and then ahead, your 8th and 9th place driver is slamming it out. Delphine has caught Root Beer King and will be trying to put him a lap down as quickly as possible. He goes to the inside of the Burger Shack machine, but he's going to be left on the outside in the final corner. He's gotten by. Azza completely sideways. He spins off all by himself, and Root Beer King goes off as well, right in front of Aiden. Aiden's not going to be happy with that as he dumps Root Beer King right off the circuit. Azda, who went completely sideways off the circuit now, is well ahead of Root Beer King, though, because of where he spun out at. But now the battle is for the top 2 positions, because Matter is just there a little bit behind Delphine and has opened up a gap on Aiden. 1.2 seconds between first and second at this point in the event. Root Beer King slots back in front of Azda now. A lot of single car and small 2-car incidents where both drivers get away real quickly, so we've been green since the start of this race as it is right now. Aiden once again closing in on TFB Matter here. Aiden seems to be faster than Matter compared to Matter trying to close in on Delphi. I think we'll see a battle for second before we see a battle for a lead here. There is not any serious lap traffic anticipated for these drivers for a short period of time here. Deetsbeam is in 4th position, Perrin is in 5th, and Ample Lemming is currently in the 6th spot. Azda has lost his spot to Kinsey Retro, so Kinsey has now recovered back up to the 9th spot at this point in the event. Going uphill now. Matter kind of sideways at the crest, and Aiden just is sideways behind. And here's an interesting battle. Kinsey has actually gotten ahead of Root Beer King now. So Kinsey has moved himself up into the 8th spot at this point in the event. But this is going to be the real battle. And for 2nd and 3rd position, TFB Matter versus Aiden Man. As we're going to follow Aiden through here. Delphine's not that far away. If Aiden is fast enough, he might be able to run down his teammate at the front of the field here. Ooh, a little bit of touch on the barriers by Delphine. That's going to slow him down just a bit. Riding on board with your 3rd place driver, Aiden here. As he's trying to make something happen against Matter. He's got a little bit of speed coming out of the final corner. Just a little bit faster than Matter. He might be able to throw it up to the inside. On the dive bomb, Matter defends the inside. Aiden is just going to give him a little bit of a nudge going into turn number 1. Pushes the 19 wide. He's on the inside. He backs out of it, though. This is exactly what Delphine wants to see. Matter struggling to keep Aiden behind him. But the thing is, they both seem to be closing in on Delphine despite the fact that they're fighting amongst each other right now. Kinsey still ahead of Root Beer King, so there are several different battles we're watching on the racetrack right now, but the most fascinating one for the moment is the fight between 2nd and 3rd, Matter with Aiden Man chasing. Aiden started 3rd in this race after starting the qualifying race from dead last, but he's basically topped out in 3rd. He's having a lot of trouble trying to gain more positions in this event. He's right there behind Matter. Really aggressive pressure. Top 3 all extremely close to each other still. An incident by any of them could significantly impact the way this race goes. Deed Speedman is back there 14 seconds out of this fight, so for now, This battle is for good. Matt made a huge mistake at the top of the hill. Aiden shoots to the inside. There's not a lot of chances to overtake through this section of the racetrack, but he's going for it. Neck and neck as they go to the final corner, and they made contact, and Aiden gets pushed wide. He gets 2 tires in the dirt and falls back behind Matter. There's going to be some angry fights afterwards. Between that, I don't think Aiden's going to take to that very well. Matter did not back out until the last possible moment, and Aiden definitely suffered from that more than he had to. So he's trying to fight back now. Delphine has opened up a gap at 3.4 seconds because of that little instant there. Perrin also is making moves for the 4th place position. He is right there behind Deed Speeman. Both of them running really wide, going through turn 1 this time. So battles taking place all over the racetrack right now as Aiden continuing to try and put pressure on Matt. You can see he pushes that number 13 Chevrolet really wide at the top of the hill, trying to maximize speed at the top. Now they go into the final corner once again. Aiden puts the bumper to Matter, and he's a little bit faster coming out of that final corner, I think, but Matter had a steadier exit, so he's going to be able to put the power down a little bit smoother. And while Aiden may have been faster, Matt's going to recover just a bit, and it will deny Aiden the chance at going to the inside through that corner. As farther back, Deed Speeman still trying to hold off. Perrin still trying to hold off Deed Speeman. Perrin has gotten by Deed just for the moment as they go through turns 1, but he's left the inside line open. Deed Speeman looking for a way by. He's going to push that 48 wide. They both get 2 tires in the dirt, and Deed Speeman shoots it up on the inside of Perrin. Perrin and Deed Speeman goes drifted sideways through turn 2. Oh, look at that. Perrin struggling to keep that car ahead, and he's inadvertently blocking the entire track against that 3 car just with how sideways he's got that thing all around the racetrack. Ooh, Deed Speeman off into the dirt there. As once more we turn our focus to the battle for 2nd and 3rd position. Aiden closing in on Matter once more. Oh, he's into the dirt. That's not going to help. Matt's getting a little bit of a run away from Aiden this time as they're going to start heading uphill. Oh, Aiden's a lot faster, though. In that corner, Matt made a huge mistake at the top there, and it's going to bring Aiden right back up to his rear bumper. Look at that 13 sliding all over the racetrack as he's going to follow Matt almost perfectly through the final corner there, and he's going to utilize a little bit of a draft to try and get a run on him at the end of the straight. Thing is, the draft really doesn't kick in until the last few meters of the main straightaway. Aerodynamic wake at this track is almost non-issue because all the corners are slow corners. It's all about mechanical grip and driver ability here. Matter made a mistake. Now Aiden's on the inside. He's got the car ahead. 13 side by side with the 19. Matter pushes Aiden wide, and Aiden gets pushed into the dirt there. That's the 2nd time that's happened where Aiden's got knocked off the circuit by Matter. Matter will take 2nd place back, though. Aiden really not happy as he's shooting up the inside. Matter blocks the track at the last possible moment. All around at the top of the circuit here. Aiden into the dirt once more. And Delphine Lover is basically gone from this battle. There is nothing that these two can do. Aiden needs to get by Matter immediately because he may be the only driver who has a chance to fight with Delphine here at this racetrack. Delphine in the 1st position, looking at potential soon to be lap traffic ahead. Ozza is already a lap down, but farther ahead is Kosiet Snake. Meanwhile, as we turn our look to what was a battle for 4th position, Perrin has opened up a significant gap over Deed Speeman. So Perrin may have the threat that it takes to close in and force Aiden to get really aggressive with Matter. 15 seconds out for the moment as Aiden once again is trying to close in on Matter. This has been the most aggressive battle on track all day today. Aiden goes into the dirt once more. At this point, we might as well start doing what we normally do and start looking at the fuel and tire wear. Aiden, 46% with 40% wear on the front tires. Matter, though, on the other hand, has less wear on the right front and left front, and has significantly more fuel. So Matter being very nice, conservative there. Delphine, who is out in the front, has gone through the dirt to try and get by lap traffic, struggling to get by the lap traffic. Kosiet Snake here. Ozda might be able to fight back. Delphine has fuel comparative to what Ozda does, but his tire wear is more closer to Matt's. Delphine dealing with lap traffic is giving him a lot of trouble here. Kosiet Snake isn't exactly a slouch on his own, but he is finally on the inside. Delphine finally gets by Kosiet Snake. Kosiet Snake looks to the inside, but there's not really a chance for him to fight back. And that was, I believe, Root Beer King farther up, who's already a lap down, might be going another lap down very shortly here. Ozda is behind Root Beer King, and if he can follow this group by, he might be able to utilize that to get by the driver just ahead of him. But first, he'll need Delphine to get by Root Beer King. At the same time, ahead on track of Root Beer King is Ample Lemming. Lemming is going to try. Oh, Root Beer King's completely off circuit. Root Beer King went completely off circuit there. He's recovered, but he's lost time now to Delphine, and he's going to have to try. Kosiet Snake has gotten by. Here comes second place Matter. Aiden has fallen off a bit as lap traffic is playing havoc with the battle for a top 3 positions. Root Beer King on the inside of Matter. Matter's going to get pushed into the dirt just a bit. Ozzo's fighting back. Ozzo doesn't want to lose positions. This is getting extremely ridiculous here. Aiden is stuck in the middle of this. There are 3 different battles all going on the racetrack right now in this section, and everyone is in each other's way right now, as causing absolute havoc for the lead lap cars. Aiden has gotten by Ozza as he sees Root Beer King beside him. Matt's just ahead. Aiden powers out, puts the power down, trying to get by Root Beer King. He's got to set it up to the inside. Root Beer King will give him the position as Matt is being held by Kosiet Snake. Root Beer King is sideways. I'll let Ozza close in as Matt still is held up by Kosiet Snake. Aiden has no such worries. He can charge right after him now. This is Ozza looking to close in on Root Beer King. He wants the position. He dives to the inside. He's got the spot. Spot neck and neck for the 9th and 10th position. And Ozza slats back in front of Root Beer King. And Kosiet Snake is there in 7th position as he's dealing with Aiden trying to muscle his way by him now. But Kosiet Snake wants to follow Matter. There's Kinsey Retro as Matter is going to get by Kinsey. So now Aiden has 2 lapped cars between him and the leader, between him and second place. As given a significant problem as Kosiet Snake is going to put Kinsey another lap down. Oh, and Aiden with a huge lunge on the inside of Kinsey. Trying to make it happen here. Trying to get through this lap traffic as quickly as possible. Now he dives to the inside of Kosiet Snake. You can see Matter ahead. Now there is, once Aiden clears Kosiet Snake, there will be no lap traffic between second and third once more. The thing, though, is that second place Matter is right there behind Ample Lemming. And Lemming is trying to stay ahead of Kosiet Snake, who is behind Aiden right now. So he's going to try and hold Matter up as long as potentially possible. And that is perfect for Aiden. Aiden has clean track ahead of him once more. Matter on the inside of Ample Lemming as they go up the circuit. And they both make contact. And they're into the wall. Second place position is into the wall. And they're going to get hit again. And a multi-car accident here. Matter involved in the wall and multiple drivers involved. And now I have to wonder, will that bring a yellow flag? Apparently not. I don't see any evidence that there was a yellow flag that came from that. The pace car is not moving, but Matter has now fallen to the 3rd position as Perrin is now going to try and muscle his way by Ozda there. Delphine, that's great for Delphine because now he has a 4.3 second gap over the rest of the field. The lap traffic really ended up helping him more than it hurt him. And the next driver that Delphine will encounter on the racetrack is Kosiet Snake, and the next driver will have to put a lap down will be Dietzman, and that's a long ways away, so Delphine has nothing but clean air in front of him at this point in the race. But Aiden, man, here's the thing, Aiden also has no lap traffic ahead of him so he can just try and focus on running down the race leader at this point in the event. Perrin is in 4th position. He's going to try and muscle his way by Root Beer King here, as Root Beer King has gotten back by Ozda. Perrin sends it to the inside without too much of an issue. Root Beer King goes a little bit wide. Again, Deedsmeeman isn't too far back from Perrin. If Perrin made a mistake, Deedsmeeman would be able to capitalize. But Perrin has recovered. Oh, and Root Beer King's gone completely off circuit there. That might give Ozda the chance to get back by Root Beer King. That's exactly what's going to happen. Ozda back by Root Beer King at this point in the event. Root Beer King has a little bit more speed than Ozda, but keeps getting involved in incidents and getting knocked off the circuit. This is Matter. Matter is dealing with the last bit of lap traffic that he'll see for a little bit. And the car ahead is Kinsey Retro. Kinsey having a great run today. One of the drivers who has suffered the hardest trying to adapt to this form of heavy stock car racing when he comes from a background of the F1 games. But he has had a relatively solid run thus far in the event. Kinsey holding Matter behind him. It's just keeping Matter from even trying to make a run at Aiden for second. He looks to the outside, and Kinsey's going to hold it. Root Beer King, meanwhile, has closed back in on Ozda once more. This is a battle for position here on the racetrack. Root Beer King into the dirt there. Ozda was very, very cautious out of that final corner. Root Beer King still going to be on the outside of Ozda in the following corner. It's not going to work super well. Oh, and he's off! Again. Empalemming in the 6th position, but roughly half a lap ahead of his rival, Kosiet Snake. And then Deedsmeeman is here in the 5th spot, and Deedsmeeman is coming into the pit, so we are now beginning the cycle through green flag pit stops. Deedsmeeman, the first driver to do so. And he's far enough ahead of his current 6th place driver that will not significantly harm him. In fact, I think Deedsmeeman will lose his position on the lead lap. Yeah, he gets lapped by Delphine, but now Deedsmeeman has pitted well before everyone else. So now we go ahead and turn our focus to what we are looking at when it comes to the fuel number and the tire wear. Delphine, heavy tire wear right now and 20% fuel. The driver in second, Aiden, who is chasing him though, is in a similar position. 20% fuel, even heavier tire wear. Third place though, TFB Matter is in a slightly bearish spot. More fuel, less tire wear. The thing is, Matter, due to the incident that happened while dealing with lap traffic, he has fallen significantly off the top 2 drivers. He's now 13 seconds behind Aiden alone and has not had the pace to directly compete. So Matt's going to need some really heavy lap traffic to catch the top 2 in order to close back in. But Matt just keeps dealing with more and more lap traffic as this event goes on. Perrin is here in the 4th position. He has fuel comparable to Matter, and his tire wear is even better than Matter. So Perrin in a very, very good position. But he's trying to recover from a poor starting spot in today's race. Then 5th place is Deedsmeeman, who's already made his stop. And theoretically, he can make that car last to the end of this race here. But the focus is going to be on Delphine and Aiden. They have very comparable numbers when it comes to fuel and tires. You can see Root Beer King gets back by Ozza just ahead of them, as Delphine is going to have to struggle with lap traffic once more here on the racetrack. Ozza pulls over and will not be an issue. But Root Beer King, I don't think he's going to pull over and be quite as nice. No, he is. He's going to pull over and slow down the main straightaway just a bit. benefit will be slight, but will be for Ozda. And Aiden has fallen to 6 seconds out from the lead, though. As I'm guessing Aiden's caught lap traffic, and it's hurt him in some way. Well, I don't see lap traffic. But he has fallen off significantly from Delphine in time. So this will be interesting because Dietzman is here in the 5th place position. He will get his lap back once Delphine pits, but if Aiden's fast enough, Aiden could catch Dietzman. And while Dietzman would be a lap down right now, he's going to be back on the lead lap very shortly. And there we are. We are seeing drivers coming back into the pits. That is Root Beer King, who has finally come into pit. No, he has not pitted. He has spun out and crashed on the main straightaway. And that's 3rd place, TFB Matter, coming up at full speed. He'll get by without issue. Kenzie continuing to hold on in 8th position as he is now going to come into the pit road. Again, Kinsey far enough ahead from everyone else that shouldn't be too much of an issue for him. The focus is still going to be Aiden and Delphine. Another lap. Aiden stays out on the racetrack. Fuel mileage comparable to Delphine, 10% for our top 2. But Aiden has put some incredible tire wear on that entire thing. He has burned that car up pretty much trying to get by Matter. But now that he's by him, he is closing on his teammate Delphine. Delphine sees lap traffic and Kosi at Snake ahead. Aiden has closed the gap back down a bit to 5.6 seconds. And here comes the leader. Delphine is going to zoom it into the pits, and we should see Aiden Man coming in shortly as well. And no, Aiden stayed out one more lap. So Aiden now has a little bit of a gap. Now here's Delphine in the lead. Where is Matter going to be in relation to your pole sitter? As Ozda gets back by Root Beer King. Here comes Matter. He's got a full head of steam going into the final corner, but Delphine is going to be ahead. He's got cold tires, though. This is the battle for position on the racetrack, and Matter is going to move ahead of Delphine for the first time today. Delphine's going to try and come back on the inside in the following corner. And they're side by side still for a 2nd and 3rd position. Delphine's into the grass. And this will be perfect for Matter. He might be able to slot that machine firmly in 2nd spot for the moment, at least until the pits come. And this will be perfect for Aiden, because with Delphine and Matter fighting, they will be slowing each other's lap times down. Aiden is in the pits now. Delphine is not having a good out lap. Aiden might end up walking out of here either in the lead or closer to the lead than before. Matt is staying out in front for the moment. You can see the 0-1 on track. That's Aiden. He is not going to come out here at the lead, but he's going to be significantly closer to the lead than he was before. Delphine shoots to the inside of Matter now. Crossover move goes through, and Delphine is finally back ahead of Matter. The tires are properly warmed up now, but Matter still has fuel, and he can put pressure on Delphine for a little bit. And that's Perrin. No, Perrin has come out in 3rd. So Aiden has fallen to 4th now because Perrin has yet to pit as well. Perrin 2 seconds behind this battle. Aiden 2.5 seconds behind Perrin right now. Matter trying to put pressure on Delphine, but Delphine is starting to open up a gap. If he could just keep the power down on that car properly. They're closing on lap traffic with Kinsey Retro once more. Kinsey has already made his pit stop. Matter will be pitting sooner rather than later, I imagine. But it seems like he's more interested in actually fighting actively with Delphine. Lemming is making his pit stop now. Matter right there in the 2nd position. He is holding on. Oh, and Kinsey is off into the dirt right in front of these two, but he's not going to be a direct factor at least. Perrin is falling off in time, as is Aiden. Neither Perrin or Aiden are closing on these battles, despite the fact that Aiden has fresh tires. Matter, though, is putting some intense pressure on Delphine still. Is Matt going to use this lap to come into the pits? No, he's going to stay out one more lap, but he is now beginning to lose touch with Delphine. Matter, thus far, the only driver to have led a lap today, but was in the middle of green flag stops. Ozda is coming to the pits now, as is Root Beer King. See Delphine opening up the gap against Matter. What is Matter's fuel numbers looking at? He's at 10%. Rupert King has gotten back by Ozda as they came out of the pits, and that's right in front of them. So Delphine's going to be held up by this battle, but Matt might not be close enough to really take advantage of it. The thing is, here's the other thing. Because of the time that most everyone else has made their stop, Matter and Perrin might walk out here in a good position. If those two drivers can extend to lap 43, they might be able to make this race on one stop. Everyone else is on track to make it only on 2 stops. Delphine on the inside of Ozda and Root Beer King. Matt on the inside of Ozda, caught there for just a moment, and Root Beer King is now solidly in between them. Matter has to balance track position with strategy now. Matter's staying out on track for a little bit longer, as is Perrin. Matt shoots to the inside of Root Beer King. Will not be helped by him any longer. The magic number will be 43. If they can go 44 laps, that would be even better, though. Perrin started dead last after a massive rollover in the race, in the qualifying race. As we look at his damage, Perrin is trying to do the same thing that Matter is. Delphine has opened up a healthy lead over Matter at this point in this race. Matter another lap on the racetrack, and I think we're seeing the same thing from Perrin. Yes, Perrin is actually closing in on Matter just a bit, so Perrin is keeping pace with Delphine as Matter seems to be losing pace as this is going on. So Perrin may be a little bit more competent when it comes to worn fuel and tires. What do I mean worn fuel? Low fuel and worn tires, I should say that. Perrin is closing slowly on Matter at this point in the event, though. This is the lap. If Matter and Perrin come in this lap or any lap after this, they will be able to make it to the end with no more stops. Delphine, at the rate he is going, will have to stop one more time, as will Aiden. Matter staying out another lap. Perrin is as well. So they're going to solidify their advantage over the rest of the field. Delphine is going to have to beat them on pure pace. Now, the good news for Delphine is that he is plainly faster than Matter, and it is a relatively short pit road, but he's going to have to open up a massive gap and hope that lap traffic doesn't trap him. There's also a situation with Deed Speeman. He is on the lead lap for the moment, but he will eventually be put another lap down, and he was the first driver to make a pit stop as well, so his tires and fuel will be falling off relatively quickly, and he will definitely be holding up the race leader. He has pace comparable to him. Matter still out on track as Delphine is opening up the gap now. Perrin still trying to close in. Matter is coming in this lap. We're getting the word that he is coming in this lap, and Perrin is as well. There goes Perrin as Matter is on pit lane now. And we should see Aiden Man get by both of them. He's already by them both. So Aiden goes back into second. 6 seconds behind Delphine Lover. But Matter and Perrin might be playing the big brain strat and could get the lead by virtue of making it a one-stop race. compared to the 2-stop that Delphine and Aiden are going for. 45 laps on a tank in what is basically an 86-lap race. So they will be in a better position when it comes to tires as well at the very end than they were at the end of this first stint. And this, between Matter and Perrin, it will be an outright battle for position if Perrin can make any moves on Matter. But if they fight for too long, they will lose the chance of them overtaking Delphine and Aiden on the racetrack. Perrin is there behind Matter. How aggressive is he going to go for that third position? Kinsey Retro's going to act as a bit of an issue here. He is lap traffic right in front. Oh, and that's Ozda as well. They got me all over the place right in front of Matter. And they both go wide and let Matter get by, but Perrin gets held up behind both of them. There's no room for Perrin to get by at all. Perrin's going to have to be aggressive here as they come up the hill, and he shoots up the inside of Kinsey. Where'd Ozda go? And Ozda pulled off completely off the circuit. He's back underway now, though. So now the gap is 1.7 seconds between third and fourth position. Koisiet Snake has solidified his spot in 7th, but and is actually closing on Ample Lemming. You can see Ample Lemming farther up the racetrack there. So Koisiet Snake is coming back. It will reignite his fight with Ample Lemming. 6th and 7th are both 2 laps down. Fifth place is Deed Speedman. He is still on the lead lap for the moment. As we change the intervals to gap from the leader, the thing for Deed Speedman is that with the laps being as quick as they are here, he is 43, almost 44 seconds behind the leader, so more than likely he will end up going a lap down before this race is over. Doubly so if he has to pit, which we are anticipating he will have to make one more stop in this race. 4th place is Perrin. He was fighting with Matt for a 3rd position, but lap traffic really held him up, and now he has a gap behind himself to Matter. Matter and Perrin both utilizing better fuel and tire wear to try and use a strat to get ahead of the top 2 drivers. 2nd place is Aiden Man, and we thought Aiden had pace to run down your race leader, but he has basically stalled out between about 5.5 to 7.5 seconds behind Delphine. It hasn't really closed at all. And part of the problem has been lap traffic has really held up Aiden more than anyone else today, I would argue. And your race leader, Delphine, he has led all but 1 lap thus far in the event. But now the question for Delphine is, can he find a way to save enough fuel to make it to the end without another stop? Because if he stops again, there's a very high likelihood, not a guarantee, but high likelihood, he will fall behind Matter on the racetrack. Lap traffic could still play big havoc when it comes to how the top 4 files out in the race. And Ozda has apparently dropped out of the event. So this means that Ruperkeen will be finishing 9th, and 10th, and 8th will probably stay with Kinsey Retro, because Kinsey is a full extra lap ahead of RBK at this point. Your first race winner was Dino Prime 77. Aiden won the next 2 races after that at Road America and Watkins Glen. Now Delphine here at Lime Rock, trying to make it 4 straight victories for Rebel Racing. Koisiet Snake has gotten by Ample Lemming for the 6th position. Kosia and Lemmy is fighting back. He's going to get back in front. These two drivers are 2 laps down compared to the leaders, but this is a fight for position between the two of them once more. Lemmy ahead of Kosia Snake for just the moment. Oh, Lemmy all sideways coming out of the final corner, but he's still faster on exit than Koisia Snake was. But we are back to seeing a very active battle for position on racetrack. On the racetrack. Oh, Lemmy sideways right in front of Koisia Snake, and Snake is going to get by on the outside. Lemmy's going to fight back on the inside, neck and neck again. Grinding through the corners, and they're going to be side by side on the run uphill. One of them's going to have to back out if they want to be safe. Nah, it was Lemmy who backed out. So Koisia Snake goes back up into the 6th spot now. As Dean Speedman has finally gone a lap down again, so now there are only 4 cars on the lead lap. Lemming on the inside of Koisia Snake. And this battle for 3rd is back on the menu as Perrin has closed back in on Matter. And these two fighting is exactly what Delphine wants to see, because as long as these two are fighting, that means that Delphine will have a higher chance of being able to make his final stop without issue. Perrin knocks the inside of Matter through that corner. We turn our focus once more to the battle for 6th and 7th. Lemming trying to close in on Koisia Snake. And just ahead of them is Kinsey Retro. He's a lap down compared to these two. Oh, and Snake goes off! Completely missed the corner there. Now he's going to fall deep behind Koisia Snake. And there's still about 30 laps left in the event, so he could still possibly close in, but time is running out. Delphine closing in on lap traffic once more. 49% fuel, and 48. So it's still looking very likely that he will make one more stop before this race is over. But Matt and Perrin are now more than 30 seconds out from Delphine. So there's a high likelihood that Delphine will be able to make his final stop and not lose the race lead, especially with how short pit lane is. Root Beer King giving Delphine a little bit of a trouble at the top of the hill, but not enough to really harm him. Aiden is going to be in a really bad position, though, because he has fallen nearly 9 seconds, well, he's 8 seconds now, out from the leader, and he's on the same everything as your race leader, if not slightly worse tire wear, so there's no way for Aiden to close in on Delphine unless there is a yellow flag. And yet, at the same time, Aiden will likely have to pit, and he's still he's only about 22 seconds ahead of third and fourth. There's a high likelihood that Aiden will fall out of the podium positions unless he puts on a massive amount of lap time or he starts slowing down and conserving fuel so he doesn't have to make another stop. Then we turn our focus to the third and fourth place drivers once again. Matter, and just a little bit behind him, is supposed to be Perrin. Where is Perrin? Well, something must have happened to Perrin to take him off circuit, because he has fallen now 42 seconds out of the lead. So he won't pit again, but now there's a likelihood he won't even be able to do anything. And Deed Speedman is pitting again. And Ample Lemming has just gotten by. Oh, Quissiet Snake has gotten by Ample Lemming. Oh, and Snake goes back wide again, though. So Matter having to deal with these drivers is going to hurt him even more. And Snake coming into the pits for a last time. He will not pit again in this race now. Kinsey, though, is a lap down compared to Snake, so it's not going to be an issue there. But here's an interesting thing. Deed Speedman, he is a lap ahead of Ample Lemming, but he might be able to make it 2 laps ahead. And Matt's still dealing with lap traffic and is not helping him one bit. Oh, and there's an instant farther back! Lemming got completely turned there. He is back underway now. But a single car spin, and who is that on the pit lane? That was Aiden, man. Aiden has made his final pit stop of the race. And Matter is now behind him. Matter, the lap traffic has hurt Matter. He is not going to be able to capitalize. He might be stuck in third. Now, the thing is, Aiden now has the advantage over Matter because Aiden will have better tires for the rest of this race. And your race leader is making his stop now. Matter is getting pushed wide by Kinsey. So all of Matter's scheming to try and get into the top spot has worked against him. He had a perfect strategy, but lap traffic has killed any chance of him to make anything of it. And Aiden so far behind Delphine that basically looks like at this point, this race may be over unless there is a yellow flag. Here's one thing to consider, though. Ample Lemming will have to pit eventually, and he had lost a bunch of time in that accident he had. So when he does pit, there is a likelihood that he will fall back behind Quissiet Snake here for the 6th spot. Good news for Perrin, though, is that Perrin doesn't have to worry about going a lap down. He will not have to pit to the end of this race. Same with Matter. The thing is, though, because of lap traffic and fine between the two of them, neither of them were even able to fight for the 3rd place position. For the 2nd place position, let alone the race lead. Perrin gets by Ample Lemming on the inside there. The gap between the leader and second has now extended to nearly 10 seconds exactly. And the time intervals from driver to driver on the lead lap has changed. Matter is 2.7 seconds behind Aiden. The thing is, Matter is on very hard, worn tires. Aiden is still nice and fresh and will be relatively fresh to the end. And someone is backwards there. That's Kinsey Retro. You see, he's finally getting back underway. He needs to get moving quickly so he can stay ahead of 9th place. Looks like Root Beer King, though, still another lap down compared to Kinsey. Will not be an issue. But definitely not a comforting position for Kinsey to end up being completely backwards on track for so long. Quissiet Snake still in the 7th spot, but the real interesting thing is going to be where will Lemming come out in relation to him when he does inevitably pit. He still has 41% fuel, so Lemming might try and stretch this fuel tank to the end. Go see that Snake farther behind, though. Fresher fuel, more fuel, fresher tires. He can go full board to the end. Lemming will likely have to conserve a bit. As now we focus on Delphine Lover. Riding on board with him for a full lap here at Lime Rock, silent in the booth. Why have I been muted for so long? That's weird. Apparently, I've been muted. Well, for those of you... Well, I don't know how long I've been muted for, but we were watching as Kinsey was fighting with Root Beer King for the last 2 positions on the racetrack, and it ended up being Kinsey got the spot because, in the end, our 9th place driver, Root Beer King, had to make an extra pit stop and could not make it to the end. Now we just wait for Delphine to cross the line to finish the race. 2 laps to go. There are no more yellow flag potentials. Whatever happens on track happens. So be it. Only the top 4 drivers are on the lead lap at this point in the race. And Delphine sees Perrin ahead. I'm not saying it will happen, but there is a chance that Delphine might put Perrin a lap down as well, despite the fact that Perrin made a stop less than Delphine did. White flag in the air. Delphine has led all but 1 lap today. But can he lead the most important one, the last lap? The likelihood seems to be greater and greater with every passing moment. Perrin continues to be held up by lap traffic. But I don't think Delphine will catch him in time. So if the race was only 2 or 3 laps longer, I think Perrin would likely end up going a lap down to this. Oh, and Perrin's in the dirt, and here comes Delphine. But in the end, Perrin will stay on the lead lap. Delphine comes out of the final corner, runs a little bit wide, but it won't be an issue. He will come home and take victory at Lime Rock. And now the focus goes to 2nd place. Aiden coming to the last corner now. Comes out of it, full bore. And Aiden will take home the points lead with a 2nd place finish here. As Matter shoots out of the final, is at the top of the mountain still, actually. It's going to be a long time for Matter. Runs a little bit wide, a little bit slow out of the final corner, but he will take home 3rd in what could have been a 2nd or even 1st place run. And now Perrin will come home in the 4th position. Now we focus on Deed Speeman, as he is going to try and come home 5th, but time will end now, as we'll go ahead and try and talk to our top 3 drivers in today's race. All right, real quickly, going to just, whoever wants to share their thoughts on the race, go ahead and do so, because we have a little bit of time. But first, I want to hear from your race leader and winner, Delphine Lover. Delphine, go ahead.
Hello.
Include your audio.
It's already included.
A very dominant win from the pole. You led all but 1 lap today, but start the race out from qualifying. How did you get that great run at the start of the qualifying race?
Honestly, just 30 minutes of practice. Just had to do it, from yesterday. I think the tune, props to you, it was pretty good. Even if I wasn't leading, it was still a pretty solid tune. Definitely an upgrade. Our Chevy was just dominant. It was strong. And I'd like to thank our sponsor, Favored Delivery, Jack in the Box, Dallas Fuel. It's really fun too, and quite satisfying to give Jack in the Box to victory lane. So that's very important to us, and we look forward to getting more wins with Jack in the Box soon.
All right. Also, one other thing to say, this makes it 4 straight victories for Rebel Racing, so congratulations on that front as well.
Thank you.
All right, now we want to talk to 2nd place Aiden Man, assuming he is still in the party.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Aiden, go ahead and include your audio. a relatively good run through the qualifying race. You were able to come from last to third, but in the race itself, it seemed your momentum forward kind of stalled out. What happened?
We were just running the same times that Delphine was. Delphine obviously had the better car today, and I couldn't really catch him. It was a little bit of a hassle trying to get around Matter, though, because at the beginning, if I got around Matter, I probably would have taken a run at Delphine, but Matter kind of held me up a little bit, but it is what it is, and I'm sure next week we'll have a better car, and we can be out there again.
All right, well, one thing for certain, with Dino Prime not showing up for today's race, you will walk out here with the points lead, so congratulations on that front, as we are now a third of the way through this season, and you are the series points leader.
Yep. Thank you.
Now we want to go ahead and talk to our third place finisher, TFB Matter. Matter, a very interesting strategy on your part. One stop compared to everyone else making it 2 stops, but it seemed like lap traffic kept you from actually capitalizing on that. Is that right, or was there something else that just kept you from being better than third?
No, it's more lap traffic. It's more started even before for my only stop. When Lemming just came down on me when I was in second, trying to pass him on the turn coming up the hill. Like, if that wasn't there, I could have gotten at least Aiden. I don't think I would have gotten Delph, but at least coming with a third still is pretty good in this Hunt Brothers Pizza Camry. And hopefully, as I'm skipping next week, I'm going somewhere for my birthday, I'm going to come back the week after and hopefully try to beat all of the Rebel Racing cars after that.
All right, well, you had a good run today, man. It was fun watching you try and slice it up through the field. And also, good job being the only driver not named Delphine to lead a lap today during that little spat you had with him in the middle of green flag stops.
Yep.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and talk to our fourth place finisher, Perrin. Perrin, we talked to you before the race. You had a massive accident in the qualifying event, started dead last today pretty much, and you rebounded to fourth. How in the world did you do that?
Well, just a lot of getting through lap traffic. Everyone's pretty squirrely on the first couple laps, and just pushing through and being calm. I think we maximized what we had today, other than a few incidents through the lap traffic and just some snaps of oversteer, understeer in the second stint, but I think we maximized what we had, and I'd say it's an overall good one.
All right, now the real question, Perrin. You ended up almost going a lap down still to Delphine by the end. The leader was almost right on your rear bumper. Was there anything you could have done to hold him off to stay on the lead lap if this race had gone on a few extra laps?
It just depended. I was getting that oversteer, understeer, like I said, and we were low in the fuel tank because we did the one stop with Matter as well. For him holding up, I wouldn't have held him up, but we were running around similar pace at most parts. Although he had a faster overall lap, we were within a tenth or two. So I don't think it would have been too hard, but I wouldn't have held him.
Well, you did an absolutely outstanding job there. Also, your fight with Matter after your guys' stop was a little bit fun to watch. Shame to see lap traffic broke that up as quickly as it did.
Yep, things happen.
Now we want to go ahead. Now we want to go ahead and focus on our fifth place finisher, Deed Speeman. Deed Speeman, you had a great start to today's race, but you still ended up finishing a lap down. What happened today?
I just didn't really have the pace as some of the other drivers did. I was about like half a second down compared to what Delphine was running and all that stuff. Lap traffic also kind of played a part. Got stuck a few times behind some slower drivers, but I tried to push as hard as I could, so I'm glad where I finished today.
All right, well, now we also want to go ahead and talk to our sixth place finisher, Kosiet Nate. Kosiet came home with an absolute fascinating run today, fought with Ample Lemming and Kinsey Retro and Deed Speeman. You fought with just about everyone, I think, at some point today, outside of the top two. You came home sixth. What do you have to say about your day? All right, well, you did an absolutely fantastic job. Good job with the sixth place finish. Ample Lemming, you came home in the 7th position. You were on track to get a 6th spot, though, until you had 2 accidents in the last 25 laps of the event. What do you have to say about your race today?
It's probably about as average as it's ever going to get for me. Like, the exact same thing happened on Daytona and Road America, so there isn't much to say.
Alright, well, I guess that's it from Ample Lemon. Does seem to have nothing to say. Kinsey Retro, you came home 8th today, but compared to your last 2 road course races, today you seemed extremely competitive against the guys on track with you. You were fighting throughout most of the day with Ozda and Root Beer Keen and ended up over both of them by the end. What do you have to say? It was definitely absolutely impressive, and unlike the scenario at Road America, it didn't seem like there should have been yellows or anything.
I just realized I didn't include my audio.
Oh, go.
I'm an idiot.
Well, let's try this again.
Right, from the top, yeah. I was made aware from a couple of the drivers, well, when I say a couple of drivers, I mean all of them. I was made aware that I wasn't meant to be racing them, even with... I wasn't meant to be racing them with me being multiple laps down from them.
Yep.
I wasn't meant to be racing them given the fact I was multiple laps down, but the mentality I have, if I see someone ahead of me, I am going to race them. If someone's trying to overtake me, regardless of whether they're lapping me or otherwise, I am going to defend my position regardless of whether they're lapping me or not. That's just my mentality at the moment. You just give me the car and just lead me to it and just let me race. But the biggest things I can take away from today is the fact that, 1, I'm happy with my race results. I finished where I started. And 2, there were no cautions throughout this race today.
Alright, and now, Kinsey, there is one other question we have to ask you. You are one of the competitors in XRL, and you've made a significant history, obviously as a broadcaster, but also sometimes as a racer within XRL within the F1 2021 game. Basically, everyone else who has come over from that, though, to this league has gone back. You are the only person who seems to have their background in the F1 games that still is running with this series. Do you think you'll stick with XRL US to the series end?
I have every intention of finishing the season here.
Alright, well, we'll absolutely look forward to you doing that, especially with the way that you've been slowly improving as the season has gone on. We wanted to get a word with Root Beer King, but it seemed like he left the party, like, literally just a few seconds. I'm going to try and invite him back in to see if he has anything else to say, or he might have gone all the way offline. Yeah, he's gone all the way offline. Okay, I'll send an invite to him regardless, but that will be an interview with just about the entire field, a very interesting caution-free race with lap traffic and strategy playing havoc with the lineup today. And once again, to everyone who did run today, congratulations. Also, Delphine, once again, congratulations on your impressive win and putting nearly everyone a lap down today as well. Alright, here we are. Coming into the party real quickly is Root Beer King. Root Beer King, real quickly, include your audio. Came home in the 9th position. Not a great run for you. What do you have to say? Oh, okay. Alright, well, good job, even though it wasn't a great result for you, RBK. Alright, well, that's interviews with basically the entire field. We were able to do that mainly because we just got through today's race extremely fast. There were 2 drivers who were not able to finish today. Stryker left after about 2 laps, and he basically only showed up to try and get minimum points. And then Ozza left about halfway through the race, and we were not able to contact him. But that'll wrap up our broadcast for today's event at Lime Rock. Broadcasts for this series will begin taking place only on the secondary channel for XRL, as the main F1 broadcasting for the Dev League, which runs concurrent with these races, will be starting up soon. That will get priority on the main channel. This series will go to the XRL alternate channel in a week or two's time. So we'll be looking forward to continued viewership numbers in the future. In a week's time, we'll be going at Hockenheimring. But we'll be looking forward to everyone in the future regardless. After an extremely intense race at Lime Rock, farewell everyone.